Election night, the polls are closed in both Ohio and Michigan.
Voters in both states cast their ballots on several races, and for the past 4 hours, poll workers have been tallying those votes. Tonight, we have team coverage following the biggest races.
Tatiana Cash is at the early voting center in downtown Toledo covering ballot issues involving TARTA, the Imagination Station, and the Toledo Zoo.
Kaylee Kirby is at Lake High School. She's been following the school races in Wood County.
But we start tonight with the race to be Toledo's next mayor. Roxanne Elias is live with former Mayor Carty Finkbeiner. Meanwhile, in his first live interview since declaring victory, Toledo Mayor Kapszukiewicz joins Emma Henderson with his reaction tonight. Emma?
That's right. So we're at about 80% responding, and he's still winning by a large margin. So Toledo Mayor Kapszukiewicz feels confident in claiming victory. Now, you claimed it pretty early, around 9 p.m. with less than 10% of precincts reporting. Why did you feel so confident you could do that?
Well, because we're good at math, and I guess I'll put it this way: I may have declared victory early, but I think the numbers have held up just exactly where we thought they'd be. But regardless, we knew early on when we saw the first results come in that we weren't just going to win, but we're going to win by a record-breaking margin. And I think what that shows is that Toledoans are embracing our limitless future. They didn't want to go back to the past. So we know our ways around precinct numbers, and when that first batch came in, it was clear that we didn't just win, that we won by 30, 35 points, which is an indication that the public wants us to build on our progress, and they didn't want to go back to the past. So we're going to get to work tomorrow.
And just really quickly, you are going back to work tomorrow. Your second term officially starts next year, as soon as everything gets guaranteed for sure. And so for you, what is going to be that main focus of your second term?
Well, I think the proper deployment of the American Rescue Plan, the $180 million that Toledo is getting from the federal government, there's just no way anything will be more important and impactful to the future of Toledo than that. Over the next 4 years, we're going to decide how to spend that money, but it'll affect Toledo's future for the next 40 years.
Great. Thank you so much. Congratulations. I know it's not official yet, but with about 80% of the precincts reporting, Toledo Mayor Kapszukiewicz expected to win with a large margin. Reporting live in downtown Toledo, Emma Henderson, WTOL 11.
Now to his challenger, former Toledo Mayor Carty Finkbeiner was running to get his old job back. As you know, Roxanne Elias is at the Finkbeiner Watch Party in South Toledo. Roxanne?
Now, it was a short-lived visit here from Carty as he talked to his supporters here behind me. And one of the things he says is, despite the poll numbers not being in his behalf or showing like they are, he says there is no way he is conceding at this point. Now, earlier, I was the first to let his former chief of staff and other supporters know that the Mayor Kapszukiewicz was already declaring victory. Most here laughed it off, saying there's no way he will be conceding at this point. And as a matter of fact, his former chief of staff and campaign consultant says, if we can recall, back in 1992, the polls were not in Finkbeiner's favor, and he ended up winning the election anyways. He says the precinct is too low at this point to tell what will happen.
Whoever wins the mayorship and whoever become the 6 elected city council people, those of us who believe protecting our citizens so they can live without fear of a bullet coming into their home, worse, a bullet coming into one of their children.
Now, Finkbeiner's supporters here say that they are on his side because they believe that crime used to be higher when he was not mayor, and they believe that he could lower it. They also said he is one person to make things happen. There's still a few supporters behind me here waiting, but Finkbeiner is no longer here. We will continue to follow the polls and let you know the latest. I'm live in South Toledo. Roxanne Elias, WTOL 11.
Roxanne, thanks. And turning to Sylvania tonight, Republican Mayor Craig Stowe has run unopposed for 25 years, but that all ended this year when independent councilwoman Katie Cappellini challenged him. The results tonight are 1,200 to about 1,000, a very slim margin there, just about 200 votes. And while the race is still too close to call, Cappellini said she ran to make a difference.
We weren't moving forward. Sylvania's stuck in kind of a holding pattern, and when your leader is kind of stuck in the same holding pattern, it's hard for the whole community to move forward.
Two challengers squared off against Monroe Mayor Robert Clark to lead the city. Devin Rucker and Charles Tolles ran against the incumbent. In the end, voters decided and went with Robert Clark. We're covering several issues across Lucas County that'll affect the taxes you pay. Our Tatiana Cash is tracking multiple levies tonight, including TARTA, the Imagination Station, and the Toledo Zoo. Tatiana, what's the latest on those?
That's right. So here at the early voting center, as you said, numbers are still coming in. So out of the 313 districts, we do know that nearly 80% have reported in. And so when it comes to the Imagination Station right now, Imagination Station issue 2 is a property tax replacement and increase that's going to happen over 5 years. And it's going to start collecting in 2023. So again, not next year, but in 2023. Those for it, as honestly, it's getting to be a bit of a close race with 50% for and 49% against, and then that's just the latest numbers we have right now. Now, when it comes to the zoo, a property tax renewal and decrease that's going to happen also over 5 years, but that's going to start collecting in 2022. You've got 72% for with only 27% against, and the TARTA sales tax is dropping that property tax and then approving a 0.5% sales tax, making that sales tax in Lucas County specifically 7.25%. So then they've got actually also a little bit close, but not as close as the Imagination Station. That's at 56% for and 43% against. Again, these numbers are still coming in, it's still counting up, but with 80%, it kind of looks to be, again, a very close race. So not going to call anything yet because it's not official. So, of course, we'll have it on air as well as online at WTOL.com. So here in the early voting center, Tatiana Cash with WTOL 11.
We're learning what is next after a controversial proposal in Sylvania. The city asked voters to approve a bond issue to support a new recreation center after a series of community discussions and plenty of debate. Here are the results that we have tonight, overwhelmingly going down. In fact, the no votes right there in Sylvania for the Joint Recreation District's proposal for a new rec center. More than 6,600 votes against it going tonight. Several Toledo City Council positions up for grabs in this election. 6 at-large council members will be elected. And you read down the names right there. Katie Moline, Nick Comives, Michelle Grimm, the top 3 vote getters, with Sandra McPherson, Tiffany Preston Whitman, and George Sarantu, all rounding out those 6 positions for City Council.
We continue our election coverage tonight with Kaylee Kirby. She's been focusing on Wood County school districts and the levies they have on the ballot tonight. Kaylee, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Melissa, right now, Bowling Green City Schools and Lake local schools both asking for voters to sign off on levies. BG looking to renew a levy, and Lake local asking their district voters to approve a new levy. Take a look at your screen right now. Here is the most up-to-date numbers. As of right now, they are unofficial final numbers. Currently, it's looking like BG Schools renewal levy is going to pass, and so is the new elementary school for Lake. Currently, almost 58% of voters are in favor of keeping the BG Schools levy. For the district, this levy has been in place for more than 2 decades. With the majority of voters approving it so far, it would make it a continuing levy, so residents would not have to vote on this issue again. Meanwhile, Lake voters also on board with the district building a new elementary school. Although it is a slim margin with about 50 more voters saying yes to the new money. If approved, the new elementary school would be built to replace the current building, which is 60 years old.
We appreciate the confidence you've placed in us. And the premium that you've put on, that they put on the education of our children. And, we will, obviously, with our high school and middle school already being relatively new, our campus would be set in terms of buildings for quite some time.
Now, again, those numbers that we have right now are the unofficial final numbers. We will continue to update you online and on air when those final official numbers do come in. You can also check our website or our news app on what other things are on the ballot for Wood County voters. Reporting live in Lake Township, Kaylee Kirby, WTOL 11.
All right, Kaylee, thanks so much. And more area school districts had levies on the ballot tonight.
And people in Swan voted on a property tax replacement, which would go toward general improvements to the schools. It was a $3.4 million levy for 5 years. And right there you see tied. Yeah, tied. Neck to neck.
Ida schools were looking for a 30-year, $38 million bond proposal for major improvements to the district's 3 buildings. And it looks like right now, Ida Public Schools levy is going down at this time.
In Dundee, another $18 million renewal, which voters have said yes to since 1994. And it looks like that trend will continue, passing tonight.
And be sure to have your phone handy into the early morning hours. These results are not final, so we will send you all of the results when they are final straight to the app as we get those in. We'll be constantly updating them. Plus, you can text the word vote right now to 419-248-1100. Once you do that, we'll send you a link right to your phone so you can track campaign 2021 coverage.